So, Dan, welcome. I want to say to everybody, so I've got Dan Tarrant. Is that how you say your surname? Tarrant?
That is, yeah.
Yeah. And so he's a creative director and a business consultant, and also the founder of Design and Narrative. So that's kind of the business that he's in, and it's a capital D and a small N. Like, I'm quite interested as well later to find out if there's an intention between the capital D and the small N. Anyway, so we met on the Transforming Lives for Good charity in the breakout room, and I legit won't forget that Finlay, however you say his name, he was there and he was just praising Dan about his website abilities and creativity, and he's like, if you need a guy for websites, this is the guy. You need this guy. If you want someone to tell you if your website is really good or bad, you just need Dan. So anyway, so I linked up with Dan, and yeah, I obviously am very excited to kind of share some of the little bit of the story that I've got from the intro, just to hear more about that and how, like, those snippets of his life of how he actually transitioned to get into the marketplace. But also, I think from a website perspective, let's see how God leads, because I just don't know, with kind of the transition that I'm in my life, like, where will the website discussion go, in order for me to kind of get my little sample of what I'm building off the ground. So yeah, so welcome, Dan. I'm so excited to have you, and thank you for your time. I always feel very honored and very blessed and just humbled and thankful, I don't know how to put it, for anyone that agrees to come on my podcast. I'm not like running a show with 2 million views or anything, but I know God uses every single conversation for his glory and just to touch lives. So I would love for you to share, I know a little bit of it, but just for the people, your testimony, like where did Dan come from, and how did Dan transition through his life to eventually be in the marketplace as a Christian business owner? And there's a lot in there, and yeah, I don't know, like, let's see if we can get past the first question today, because there's so much.
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to share. Thank you so much, Elle, for having me. It's really nice to be here, and it's been great you. If you're wondering about why it's capital D and then little A and N, it's because it's Dan. So it's my logo is capital D and it's an ampersand, but it kind of looks like an A, so it looks like Dan.
Yes. Oh, that's creative. That's the designer in you. Oh my gosh, I love that. And I love your website.
It's interesting. Some people read it as D ampersand N, and some people read it as just Dan. And both times when I tell them it's both, they're like, "Whoa!"
Yes. I love that. That's super creative. Wow.
Yeah, thank you. So I guess my heart has really been how could we do the design part well, but also like tell people's stories really well. I guess my job, my training is as a UX designer, but I really want to bring the human side of that in, and just kind of felt all the time, like in my old job, I'd be in meetings and people just kind of want to do the most efficient thing, the most, they're just kind of so worried about data and stuff, actually missing just the story and actually just telling like why you were doing this, like how do I help my clients really convey their heart for what they're doing, this thing that they're super passionate about with an audience. So that was kind of my idea. I'm not a very good copywriter. I'm okay at text, but I got a D in English, so my grammar's never been good. But I think I'm pretty good at refining sentences down and, Grammarly, so that helps. My story, I guess, I don't know. So I did a graphic design degree in Sheffield, where I now live. And really liked it. And then just as I was kind of entering my third year, they were like, if anyone wants to specialize in UX design, which stands for user experience. And I was like, that kind of sounds actually interesting. And then I started to look into it and realize that actually, this is something I'm really passionate about. There's a very arty side of graphic design, and then I'm actually probably more like the practical and logical developer side of.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, like I always found I guess I did product design and like DT and stuff growing up, so I always loved like problem solving, whereas graphic design can verge towards more like modern art, and actually I think I like the more problem solving one.
Okay.
So I was that in my final year, and then got a job as a UX designer, which was really cool. Did that for about 15 months, but through that process from the beginning I was like, this cannot be all that I've been put on earth to do. Like I'm really passionate about mission. I'm really passionate about like being a disciple of Jesus. And I guess I just felt like this job was cool. You know, it was a good career package starting job, you know, bonus, all this stuff. But I could just feel my heart being like sucked into this world. And that actually my heart, like, I was just losing touch of the missional side that I knew I really wanted to honor. And I knew I'd say to Jesus, like, you know, I'll go anywhere, you know, I'll do whatever you want for your kingdom.
I love that.
I can feel that slipping away. I went on like a 2-week trip to the Philippines in that time and was kind of like, yeah, maybe I'll go be a missionary out here, do something like that. Came back, was like, okay, Filipino people do not need me, Dan Tarrant, to come save them. They've got Filipino people that are going to do that a lot better than I can. But real thing in me of like, oh, how can I be a missionary in Sheffield? You know, I know the language, I know the culture, I know where people hang out, I know how to talk to people. I'm rooted in a really good church here, the Well, shout out to the Well. Things like that, and just kind of start to process that, and then that kind of evolved more. And then I sat in church and they say, oh yeah, in September we're starting our ministry school, which is like 1 day a week, you know, for anyone who's interested. I was like, I would love to do that. Like, I just knew in my heart I want to do that. I then was like, oh, but my notice period at work is 3 months, and that means I need to like hand in my notice in about a week's time if I want to do the school and whatever. And so that I really wrestled with that. Spoke to a few friends. I got a good friend, mentor figure in my life, Benjamin Elliott, who does a lot of church comm stuff, if you ever come across him.
Awesome.
And yeah, just like processed some stuff and decided, I want to do this. I want to hand in my notice and just see what happens. So I handed in my notice. The first month I was like, this is going to be great. This is a great idea. Like, I'm going to start a little business. I'm going to do some freelance stuff, going to do mission and freelance stuff together, and you know, make some money, and like, this will be really cool. Month 2 of my notice period, I'm like, what have I done? What a dumb idea. I'm literally throwing away like a really good job, you know, like my family. What's happening here? And I'm like, this was, I'm just going to have to get a job at Tesco's or something and just figure it out, you know. Like, month 3 comes around and I just kind of work out, and I'm like, actually, I've just got peace. You know, God, if this goes really well, really badly, I'm going to trust that it's for your glory, that this is the right thing. You know, I've read the Bible, I've seen the stories, Lord, and I believe you're real. I really do believe you're real, and I really believe you answer prayer. So here I am, Lord, you know, send me. What do you want with me? And literally going into my last week, not having any clue what I would do next. And then met up with Ben, my mentor friend, and he's like, Dan, I've been thinking about you. And I was like, oh yeah, thanks, me too. And he's like, I've actually got an opportunity for you. I think you might be interested. There's this thing called The Send. And we're looking to put together a small media team for it. And I wondered whether you'd want to do it with me. Like, I'm going to be the director of media, and I'm looking for someone to be on team with me. There's a little pay package, so you know, we could cover you there, and we'd probably do about 3 days a week, so you could still do the school ministry 1 day a week, and you could still do your own freelancing stuff 1 day a week. You know, what do you think? And at this point, my soul is leaving my body and doing a little dance in the
literally sky. Such an opportunity.
I can't believe what's happening right now. And the thing is, I knew what The Send was. I'd actually been following it in the US.
That's amazing. Because if you didn't know, you might have been like, oh, okay, cool. But as soon as you know, because it's for anyone who doesn't know, The Send is like a big deal. It's a global, massive movement of youth, right? Like, and just essentially, it's massive.
So the whole kind of premise is, let's get young adults and students into mission. Like, how can we do that? Like, in America, they use the language, the war on inaction, which I liked, but it doesn't flow so well with the mindset. So it's more like, you know, do it again. This idea of like, God, would you come and like move a generation into mission? You know, how could action change history? Like, how could we, as we take action, change the legacy of this nation? And you know, it was amazing, and I knew what The Send was, and I'd actually sat there before looking at my phone thinking, I wish I could be involved with something like that. That's so cool. And so then literally within a month be like directly asked, like, do you want to be on team? Out of nowhere, like literally had no idea it was even possible. Even coming to the UK was just the most phenomenal thing. So that's section 1. Then that's the end of 2024. So start the send stuff, do that 3 days a week, going really well. Team starts to build out. We do Wembley Arena, things like that. Really cool. Basically, like big stadium and arena gatherings of young adults.
I would be on such a high. I swear, if I was there, I would be like, oh, "This is my life right now." Like, I don't know. I get very excited for things like that.
Oh God, you really see me. Like,
yeah,
as I've carried
like, it's such a big deal.
So that was cool. And yeah, it was a great time. And then over time, my kind of role on the creative team became more just owning the website. Like, I'd done a little bit of website stuff at uni and kind of was like, yeah, I can take that. And then we had some other graphic designers join the team. It just felt like the thing that I was most specialized in. So I owned that and kind of threw my hat in. And next thing you know, I'm building out this huge site with all these moving parts in that just becomes my like 9 to 5, which was awesome. And then people start to say, oh, could you do a website for this thing and this thing? And I say, yeah, I guess so. And so then transition to the end of 2024, sorry. I'm now like fully running my own little part-time business, doing the send stuff as a couple of days a week, and then got other clients on the side doing websites for them, and then amongst that a bit of branding, but just general graphic design stuff in there as well. And then 2025 was very much like the time where I kind of hit the real conviction that actually this is the mission field that God's calling me to. You know, in my heart I was still kind of waiting, like, oh, is there going to be something like going abroad somewhere, doing something, building a planted church, something. And then I had it's so funny, I took some friends to this ministry school like the next year, just for one day for like a special session.
I love that.
And they're like, oh, we're going to pray over people. And so I say, yeah, sure. And someone prays for me and they say, oh, Dan, I feel like you either own a business or you're going to start a business and God wants you to help lead businesses. Okay.
Wow.
You know, I received that. They don't know anything about me. I've never met this person.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And then about 5 minutes later, her husband comes over and they've not been collaborating. He was praying for someone else.
Yeah.
It's kind of ministry time. He says, oh, Dan, I feel like you either own a business or you're going to start a business and God's calling you to help lead businesses. And I think he's saying to do that instead of like ministry stuff. And I'm like, okay, man. Like,
God spoke.
Right.
Yeah. Gosh, I love stuff.
You know,
like
really
this.
in my heart was kind of wrestling between the two. Like, the business is fun and challenging, but the ministry stuff feels a bit more safe and a bit more easy and exciting. But yeah, so 2025 was very much like me saying, right, let's make this business stuff my 9 to 5, build it out, started doing client work, like more client work. And it's just been such a joy, and connecting with people at TLG. There's some other amazing people around that I've connected with, and the network inside the business world has been amazing as well. I help also, I should probably mention that I do stuff with like Faith Tech. So Faith Tech in Sheffield, we help plant that.
Amazing.
Here, and just the connections I made through that and stuff have been great. But that's a bit of my story, going from uni all the way through to about 4 or 5 years later now, where I'm running a business.
Gosh, so I love that.
Got a few people that help out and stuff.
No, that's amazing. It's so funny because I wrote, when you said about the missioning and stuff, I was writing about surrender all and here I am, send me. And then like 5 seconds later, you're like, here I am, send me. I'm like, I live for this stuff, you know, just where God speaks and he sends the people, the prophetic word, and the connecting the dots, and how he's just in the detail. And he's even, you know, while you obviously is like, I'm going to go to Philippines to be a missionary, you know, and then you come back, but then actually God wanted you to just be in your own territory and like within the marketplace. So he didn't kind of take away the dream or the passion or the desire. He just repackaged it into a different style, or how can I put it? Like you still were very much linked to mission, but like from that, using your skills to then help that kind of drive that forward. And you know, like the ministry school that you went to, and just the marketplace, which is such a massive mission field in itself, right? Like I think sometimes we don't realize, just by even like if say you've got a kingdom-led business or being a Christian business owner, like you are constantly being able to come around like new people. I think like in the workplace, you do get around people and you will work with new people, but it depends on your type of job and stuff. So it's like your reach becomes so much bigger when you have your own business going, and like the networking and like you said, the network within the Christian world. Like, it's so amazing. I have to say, every single person I've met has just been so like this compassion, the love of Jesus. They're just easy to chat to. It's like you speak to people and it's like, oh my gosh, it's like I've known this person like forever. There's no effort. It's not like there's no toil. It's just like, it feels like if you are in the spirit, you just, there with God at the center of it. It's just rest, and it's just easy, and it just flows, and it's how can I put it? Like, it just feels so, it's like warmth. I don't know. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And when you were talking about kind of that quick decision of making a decision within a week, I have to say that just before I logged into the call, I wrote down radical obedience, because I didn't know why I wrote it down, but I'm like, cool, okay, God, like maybe you're going to bring up something about radical obedience. And so I suppose in your journey, like up until now, do you feel that radical obedience is kind of like the thing that you had to do in everything you do? Because, and then even before I wrote it down, like earlier I was thinking, oh, I'm going to just look at some of the notes from Sunday, maybe there's something that stands out. And then it came back again about your identity and authority in Christ, like obedience. And you want to, like, if you want to kind of know how to get your identity right, it's about obedience and your relationship with God. And so there was a lot of stuff here about obedience, and about the one pastor, even in because we have like our main campus, but there was the Cape Town campus, and he's talking about identity as well. And he also just said about, sometimes it's like if you're just that radical person, it's like God speaks and you don't even think a second. And I feel like I've moved a bit closer into this arena where some people are like, sorry, what are you doing? Or why, like they almost kind of get a bit like fearful, like, why are you just making such a sudden decision? But I'm like, I'm making the decision because it's about radical obedience. I know what God spoke. And if you have a relationship with him, you're not questioning it. There's no double-mindedness. You just know what you know and what he spoke to you and what the future holds, and you're just going for it. And so with your whole journey, just kind of unpacking a little bit about the radical obedience word that I wrote down, and what that looks like with Philippines, or with, kind of just, I've got 1 week to decide like what my life's going to look like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess the most obvious example I can think of, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't want to say that I'm someone that does that really well, because there's lots of times where I don't.
Yeah.
But I guess it is a culture. It's something I definitely want to do more.
Yeah.
But like in that 3-month notice period, I actually connected with a Christian charity that were looking for a graphic designer. And
wow.
They invited me around for an interview, and it's like a 2-hour drive. So I hopped in the car and I was driving over there, and I was obviously quite excited about it, and being like, oh, this is going to be the thing that I was like looking for,
Yes.
in my notice period, like what am I going to do? And just on the way there, I was just praying about it. I just got this gut-wrenching feeling that I literally just felt like God say, this isn't for you, Dan. Like, this just isn't for you.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, it is. Like, this is like the thing I've been like, come on, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It just wouldn't leave me. And so I get to the like interview, and we're like looking around, and I think, they're kind of making an offering, and they're kind of saying some stuff, and I'm kind of thinking, oh, that's not what I would really like to do. And I kind of just decided, actually, I'm just going to stick to what I would like, I'm going to stick to the wage I would like, and how many times they'd want me to come in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if God said this isn't for me, then it's not for me, and so I'm just going to say what is for me, what would actually work for me.
Yes.
And it wasn't awkward, but I could think there was a bit like oh, okay, well, this isn't quite what we were hoping, and I was a bit like, yeah, maybe this isn't quite what I was hoping. And it actually just meant that when I left, I just had real peace that, this isn't right. And we emailed a few days later, and we're like, I think it's best to just leave it, kind of thing. And that was really, it wasn't hard, because I just kind of had peace that God had already said that it wasn't for you, even though I didn't know. I was kind of like, oh, but like, what am I going to do for work? I don't know. I guess I am someone who enjoys taking a risk, well-kept. But being young, I don't have a mortgage, I don't have a wife, I don't have kids. I can can take a few more risks and be a bit more nimble. Which is one of the best reasons to just start business when you're younger, I think.
For sure.
Let's see what happens. But I like to think I'm someone that's obedient. I guess there's times where I've been on like a work project and maybe there's a way I could interpret an email differently, or I could, I don't know, move something more to my advantage, or lie, to be honest, and say, oh yeah, sorry, I've not done that because of, I don't know, my cat died or something, you know. Just being honest has just been the best, and actually that is obedience to me, because that is not comfortable enough. It's like, especially when it's admitting fault and admitting blame, that being honest and being like, yeah, that's my fault, I shouldn't have done that, I missed that. I guess I got another story in that sense, is my first client ever, a guy called Dave, he's a really nice guy. I kind of start this like web design for him, and I've told him I'm going to do 3 different designs for him to then pick from. Do one, I really like it, and then I start trying to do number 2, and I was just really stressed. I just can't do it. I'm really struggling, let alone number 3. And I just kind of panic, and I just kind of think, oh my gosh. And so I basically just don't email him for like a week and a half, and then he basically ends up emailing me quite a like a, right, what are you doing? You've run off with my money kind of thing, like, you know, this isn't good, like. And I'm like, oh no, and I'm almost basically just embarrassed, and I just think, you know what, and it was Easter, and so I just pick up the phone, I just call him, and I basically just go, Dave, I'm really, really sorry, this is where I'm at, I'm a bit stressed, I'm really sorry I've not communicated with you that I have done the design that I do like, but I told you I'd do 3, and I'm stressed that I haven't done those. And he goes, oh, okay, well, thank you for being honest, thank you for apologizing, because I think he was worried. Well, just send me over the one you've done and let's check it out. And he really liked it. He was like, yeah, don't worry about the other 2, let's just go with this one. And that was like, moment of actually just being honest, obedience to just admitting fault, being vulnerable, actually goes a long way, I think, in the business world. I think it's one of the markers of Christian faith, is just how can you be a nice person that's not, I don't know, trying to make yourself look better all the time, because a lot of the time you're not better.
Oh my gosh, and like the servant kind of heart, instead of, I don't know, it's always like, if you look at like the corporate worlds, the kind of characters and behaviors and things that you see and that you even hear about, it is quite shocking. But I mean, you can't expect something different, right? If like people don't know truth, or they don't know kind of what a life with God is like, then you can't blame them or judge them for that until they come into the light and then actually understand better. But I loved what, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, like sometimes I've been in Christian circles and seminars talking about work, and kind of feels like it boils down to just be the best. Like, just be the best person at what you do. Like, I remember when I was at uni, it was kind of like, oh, if you're just the best graphic designer on your course, then people know you're Christian, and that's how you can like show off God as like the best thing. And I just thought,
okay.
Like, what if I'm not the best? What if I'm mediocre?
And you're still growing and learning, and
exactly. And I do think when we find our like calling, like we will be good at it, because like it's what we're made to do, and I think God's given that in us. But I think it's okay if you're not the best, and actually therefore then it's actually your soft skills that come through in your faith. It's your soft skills in your temper and your obedience, your kindness, the fruits. That's where you show your godliness, not in I'm better than everyone else because I'm Christian.
I agree. It's definitely the fruits of the Spirit is the thing that speaks the loudest, because it doesn't matter about your works, your skills, your talents, your nothing. You know, even like in a relationship, it doesn't matter like what you do or how you do it, or you know, if you're like, oh, I'm a Christian, but where's your fruits? Like, you know, if there's no patience, there's no love, kindness, like it's not a good look. Like, rather, you know, don't say anything. I don't know. But I also loved what you said about peace, because I think sometimes when you make some of those radical obedient moves, it always like whatever, like Jesus comes as the Prince of Peace, right? And every single thing that you decide on your walk with life, it's like, if peace that surpasses all understanding, if that is on you, and there's no anxiety, there's no double-mindedness, and you just know, like, oh my gosh, this is like, it feels like a really good place to be. It's like, oh, like I just want this peaceful feeling to be on top of me forever. So it feels like if because I think in business, it's also like in your personal life, obviously, like that's one thing, but then in business, there is so many different decisions. And sometimes I think, stuff can come to derail or delay or kind of try and catch you out or whatever. And you need to really be close to God, right? To make the right decision aligned with him and, who he is. And then you'll have that peace about it instead of just being all over the show. Or, even when I spoke to Gareth Russell last week, he was saying, if you make that decision, make the decision aligned with God, aligned with the values of your company, like where you're going, because sometimes you will be taking on something that really just isn't of God. And it's similar to what you were saying about, the Tarrant D&n, and it's like, no, but this is for me. I really want to do this. And then it's like, no, it's not. That's not for you. The other question I have is around, I guess you went to the Philippines, and I know you went there for ages, but I'm sure that it still gave you an insight of what life is like in a mission field versus that experience compared to this is life on the marketplace mission field. Are those, like, was the Philippines mission, real life, hardcore mission field harder or more challenging than what you're doing in business? Like, what does that parallels look like, or how do you kind of put that on paper? Like, if you had to choose between, God said go in the mission field or do the marketplace, here's the pros and cons, here's the ABCs, this is how you're going to compare your experiences and then know which way to go. I don't know, obviously God decides which way to go regardless of your pros and cons or your plan ABC on paper. But I'm quite interested because I don't have experience of mission fields, obviously workplace and corporate and very early stages of business. I'm quite interested.
Sure.
Just even though it was just a little, there must be some
definitely
stuff there
as well. But I guess the Philippines was the most like extreme, like, literally going into slums and seeing
which is like the real deal, like what you see on the Instagram reel, like, wow, those people are amazing.
It was really like tough, like seeing people out there, but at the same time the joy of the kids. So basically it was a home which UK people had set up out there. And the kids aren't orphans, but like they spend a lot of time away from their parents. And spend it's basically like a glorified youth camp, but like deep, super intense. Like they'll provide them food and clothing, and they'll sleep over for the entire weekend and then go back to school on Monday. And a lot of them live on the slum, or the rubbish tip slum kind of area. So I guess the mission that you're doing in places like that, it's practical. It's like handing out food. It's, I don't know, we did do some like singing songs together and stuff like that, and it's giving out and visiting people and stuff. It's very practical. I guess when I think of mission in the UK and what that means for me now, it's more like emotional stuff. Like people have most of their practical needs like covered in the UK, and obviously if someone is in need, you help them out. But mission for me now looks like discipling people. It looks like mentoring and discipling people. So I mentor a guy who's at uni, so I just meet up with him once a month pretty much, or like whenever he's back at school or something like that. He's a Christian, but like he's 18, so he's figuring out life, and just giving him a space to ask questions, process, think. That to me is discipleship. I'm not giving anything revelatory. I'm not reading the Bible with him as such. I'm just giving him space to process and kind of giving him those checkpoints of like, hey mate, but 6 months ago you said this, and he's like, oh yeah, I did say that. It's like, so maybe God's doing it, and giving him that over. And I do that because someone did that for me, and I thought that was just the most helpful thing. And I'd really encourage everyone, go disciple someone. Even if it's good, just do it once, an hour a month, you can figure it out.
Absolutely.
And then there's my friend in Sheffield who used to be our neighbor, an Iranian guy called Naveed, and like been like properly discipling him in, I guess, in a sense, every week, every other week, actually read the Bible together and praying with him and just answering questions and stuff. And honestly, I've not done that much, and he, like, God has just completely changed his life. Like, he wasn't Muslim before. He was probably just very wary of religion and kind of saw religion as this thing that controls people. Like, from Iran. But like, he has just fallen in love with Jesus, like his life is completely changed. He's like, I just feel this thing in my chest. I just feel this thing all the time. Whenever I come to you guys, whenever I come to church, I just feel this thing. And I'm like, that's the Holy Spirit. That's the love of God. I remember one time I was like trying to explain things to him, and there was a passage about Jesus' baptism. And he's like, what is this word? Like baptism. I was like, baptism, it's like you go down and you die and then you're reborn. And like he just starts welling up, and I just start welling up, and he's just like, I want to do that. I want to get baptized. And so he got baptized a couple of weeks ago.
I love that.
We only really started talking in October, so
you
know, obviously I knew him a bit before then, but actually like reading the Bible together.
Short, so it's not even a long time. It just shows you like the power of the word. The word.
That to me, that's the benefit of being self-employed and owning a business, is I have that flexibility. And yes, I'm busy, but ultimately if I'm not making disciples, I'm not really doing the Great Commission, I'm not really following the words of Jesus. My flexibility, your flexibility as a business owner, is one of the greatest assets you have. Like you can just say, actually, I'm going to block out 9 till 10 tomorrow, every Thursday, to meet up with this guy and read the Bible and have a coffee. Time box it. You've not got to be on the phone at all hours of the day. You're not responsible for everything and every decision they make. Like, if they want it, they'll come get it. And that's what I found with Naveed. Like, he comes to me with a list of questions. Like, he's been reading the Bible in his own time, and I'm always like, you can always just text me. But he's like, no, I don't want to bother you. A list of questions and says, I've read this, what does this mean? Can we look at this passage? And we just kind of process that. And that is mission. That is mission in the UK. Discipling people, meeting up with them, answering questions, whether that's going from someone who's not in faith at all to someone who is a Christian, whatever, even if it's someone who's also a really good Christian, but they're just 10 years younger than you. Like, whatever it is. And I mean, there's a ton of people out there that work shifts, that can't really do church 9 to 5 like stuff. Like they're not free on a Sunday every Sunday. They're not free to small group or for Alpha course regularly because they're around. And well, who else can be flexible? Us business owners that control their own diaries. I would say that how could we really love those people, meet those people?
That's incredible.
The last thing I'll add actually is something I've been thinking about is I think the way I was raised in the Christian faith and in evangelism and stuff like that, it was very like what I describe as like bottom up. It was like hell is bad and you're a sinner and you need saving, so like we're gonna like we need to like escape you from the flames.
I come out of the same background, so I totally relate.
Very much based in like you're a sinner that needs forgiveness, which is absolutely true. But what I've seen with Naveed and what I see with like probably more like the woman at the well and things like that in the Bible, it's top down. They like God meets them from the place of love. That's the thing that changes their life.
Grace.
I'm not having to tell Naveed, hey, don't do this because it's a sin and you're a really bad person if you do that. He's saying, I just gave up drinking. And I'm like, what? I just stopped drinking alcohol when I started. I just didn't feel like I need it anymore. And his heart is changing. Like his love for God, the way he's met the love of God, has changed his life. And now he just doesn't desire those things anymore. And there will be times where it's a little bit of both, and he knows that, about salvation and things like that. Like, but I just think it's such a better evangelism technique. It's such a better way of discipling people. Like, there's a God who loves you, who wants to change your life because he loves you. There's a God who's angry at you and you need to ask for forgiveness.
You're speaking like someone that's like literally a member of my church, because this is like the grace message is just so prominent, and just how Prophet Leon, who's like the head of our church, because I'm part of a church in South Africa, and kind of online here type thing, and it's exactly what you just described. Like it's basically like there's no condemnation in Christ. Like once you're with him, like he can't see the sins, he's there. Like, yes, the Holy Spirit will convict you if you truly saved. I believe if you're truly saved, you're always saved. But it's kind of like people that make a random tick for someone else. It's like, well, no, don't get saved for me. Get saved for yourself. Do you want to meet Jesus? Like, do you want a life with him? And once you truly surrender to God and you love him and you are obsessed with him, he's the one that does all the work. Like one day you'll just wake up, like if you were struggling with something, like you were saying about, the drinking or addiction or I don't know, anxiety, or you're fearful of X, Y, Z, what, like he constantly does the work. It's like, as long as you just stay in the word and stay close to him, you'll wake up one day and be like, what? Like, I don't feel anxiety over this thing anymore. Like, I feel so calm.
Yeah.
This is amazing. And it's just that. It's about just this, like, what is Jesus? Like, he is all about love and compassion. Like, even if you're not even saved, he loves you. Like, even if you're not saved, he'll still come and meet you and do stuff and help you and give opportunities and, kind of raise people up. Like, he's still doing that because he still loves you. The only difference is you're not choosing him, where someone who wants to choose Jesus, like, that's a whole different story, because your life is just never going to be the same again. It's the best. Like, I don't know. I feel like I don't even care if people call me like some radical, like religious Christian person. I don't care. I'm like, call me that, because I love it. Like, I love Jesus. I love everything about, like, all I could talk about all day is just everything about, like, what I read, what I experienced, like, hanging out with people that love him, dreams, I don't know, anything. That's all I care about. But yeah, I love that. I love what you were saying, just about the grace and the love, and that is how people's lives really get transformed. Because even for myself, I think when I first got saved, like maybe, I think it's now 12 years ago, I was still kind of in the religious kind of background, and it was really like, while it was still steps getting me closer to Jesus, it was about my brother talking about the book of Revelation in detail, because he got a radical salvation, and about hell and about all the realities of these things. And I was so scared. I was like, I don't want to go there. I thought, like, if I'm a good person, I'm just going to go to heaven. And he's like, no. And then tick, and like all these things. And I was so scared. I came back to London. I stopped drinking. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I need to find a church. And then that was December. And then by the May, like in that Q1, I've kind of found a church and then got saved by May. But then it's like this life of lukewarmness, and yeah, you still saved, you made the decision, but you're not living in the fullness of what he's got for you, because you never surrendered your life to him. And then once you have that encounter with Jesus, oh my gosh, you cannot look back. You can't go back. Everything is different after that. Like, it's a very different level. I don't know if it's that's how it works. Like, you started, some people just start at the radical level, and some need baby steps maybe, or I don't know. But I definitely started at the lukewarm religious background, and then wound myself up to some point where it wasn't even through a person. It was literally on my own, on a YouTube video, sitting in my child's bedroom, and there I am having an encounter with Jesus, which is just, it's radical, it's crazy, and people can't understand it. And I always say, don't judge if you don't know what you don't know. First experience it, then judge it, because once you experience it, you will anyway be on my page. I just love it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
pros and cons to both, like this kind of bottom up or like top down. But I think the pros of the top down one is you're actually giving God more space to do the work. It's more, you just say, hey, like, and you're allowing God in to just really change someone's heart and change someone's life, rather than trying to like push someone. It's like push and pull, I guess, is probably a better analogy.
Yes.
Either let God pull them in, or you like push them in.
Yes. Because the reality of those things are still there. You can't kind of look away at like what happens if you're not saved, or people, it's like, don't try and diminish that hell doesn't exist, or just make it fluffy and just make it about like the happy grace love. Jesus is just a lover. Like, God very much is still someone that judges, and like, he does those things in the Bible. It just depends like on which side of the camp you are. And
like, if the reason to get married isn't because you're terrified of being single, it's because you love that person and you want to be with them. That's different. And like being like united and having the same, like almost like being united with a purpose. Like, you want to be moving in the same direction, doing like it's
yeah, it's just about Jesus. Like, that's all it comes back to me. It's just like, just keep your eyes on him, and it's all about him, and then you're gonna be good. You'll be fine. Stay in the word.
But yeah, mission in the UK.
Yeah,
looks like mentoring,
disciples.
like discipling, looks like being flexible.
Yeah,
looks like just loving people well. And
yeah,
I don't know, if you don't feel very confident at that, like, just you'll be fine. Like, if you've been in church a few years, you know stuff. You have life experience.
So much stuff that they don't know.
Go for it. Like, the stuff that you think of as just like normal kind of basic Christian knowledge is gold. It's gold to these. Like, it's been times when Reed's been reading something and I'm thinking, I've read this 1,000 times, and he's like, wow, and I'm like, yeah, wow, that is actually amazing that it says that, and like processing that, and he's like, what does this mean, righteousness? And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like you're just like justified, and like, yeah, like, and he's like, I love that. I'm like, I love it too. Like, you're being discipled as you disciple. There you go.
Yes, and everything that God gave you, your experiences, your testimony, the knowledge and the word and the sermons that you watched, he uses all of that, because once you get into the conversation with someone, it's like my friend in Dubai, which, shout out to Steph if she's ever going to watch this episode. She was on like this year journey, and she went to kind of a conference in Dubai and kind of had, I suppose, an encounter with Jesus, but then it was roll on a whole extra year before she got radically saved, delivered at like her first church service, and she's like, "Ow, what have I been doing for my whole life? Like, this is amazing." And the question she asked, I was like, oh my gosh, I can actually answer all these questions, because you kind of think, oh, like, what if I don't know all this stuff? Like, I'm not at the level of like some of your pastors and stuff. But God sent you the people that you are equipped to teach. And he will give you the words, and he'll give you the kind of the revelation. Or sometimes I would have read something the night before, and then she's got questions the next day, and I'm like, no, like, you won't believe it, I just read this thing and here it is. Like, you can read it. And the other thing that another pastor said of another church is that, people are so keen to always just like run and go and like do missions in Africa and the Philippines and whatever, but they always say, have you ever started with your own circle of influence? Like, have you actually told every single person in your circle of influence, at work, whoever you come across, about Jesus and that how much he loves you? Like, have you started there? Because if your own household and your own family don't even know anything about that, maybe it's not a good idea to just pack your bags and leave, because they need you first. Ministry starts at home. And then you kind of go out to the circle. And then once you've kind of tapped into every single resource that you've got and you need more, then go out. I mean, you can literally like go down the road to like Aldi, get hand of a flyer or something. There's always someone to pray for. There's always someone to reach. And we are here. I always believe like God places you strategically in a territory where he needs you to move and he needs you to do something. And even people that he sends across your path, people that you meet, people at work, wherever. You don't always have to kind of run off and try and find a foreign country to do it. Yes, some people are called to do it and it's awesome and that's just God's plan for their life. But I think some people see that almost like the Instagram reel and they're like, I want to do just that. Instead of like, just start at home. Maybe like you might actually get fulfillment just by starting there and then growing and actually like almost, I guess, get equipped, right? Because you're going to start small in a safe space and then faithful with a little, and then he's going to like expand your territory and then do more and more and more. Like, you just don't know.
I guess the one thing for me, because I definitely like agree, like, you're called to be a missionary and you can do that just as easily at home, is I guess just that I am a big believer in overseas mission, like even just short trip, because I just think it does something to our hearts.
Okay.
Really just does something to your heart, just to go and see how God is moving in another place and see where like the gospel literally is the difference between life and death, to see how scraps of the Bible are like cherished beyond belief.
Wow.
And you're like, wow, and it just breaks, it just does something, it just reshifts, it recenters. I find it a little bit of a pilgrimage, actually. It's good to use. Like, I want to do another trip soon, actually, just because I think it can be a bit easy to get a bit spiritually bloated, maybe, and actually just sometimes going to different contexts, and that could be America, it doesn't have to be somewhere like super poor or whatever, like going into another context and being like, oh God, this is how you move here, You just learn, and then you can come back and be like, oh, I saw God do that over there in this way, or I saw the way they did this thing, and it's just helpful. And it just keeps us on edge. Like, I think it's so easy in the UK, in the world that we live in, and the things that we have, and the comfortable lifestyles we have, just to kind of get that, like, there are people out there who have so little. Like, I will never forget this girl that I'd been meeting for a few days at the like children's home thing. You know, she always seemed very polite, very lovely. And then, like, on the third, fourth day we'd been there, we went to the slum and just looked around and met some of the families living there. And we go into this tiny little like shacky thing, and there's a tiny bit of like dirty sponge on the floor. And this girl is like, oh yeah, that's my bed, that's where I sleep. That's it. And he kind of just like, oh my gosh, like I just like was like welling up, because I was like, I couldn't believe it, like I can't believe that that year in year out she's just there. That's where she lives anyway. And I think it's good to just have those moments of like, wow, God, like the gospel does have the power to save. Like, her life is being changed through the work that they're doing out there. Not because they're physically changing her circumstances, not because I'm rescuing her, not because I'm giving her money or building her a new house, but just because I'm able to come and bless her, pray for her, smile at her, sit with her, and just help her feel human.
And
that does so much for me, and it's a massive. And actually, the team out there were just so grateful that we would come and just visit them and see them, and you know, bring the skills that we had and give them a week off in a way. Like, so I'm a big believer in overseas mission, but definitely when it's like long term, like think about how are you called long term, as like you are a missionary in your own neighborhood.
Like, are you called, like, is that your calling, or are you just doing it because you saw an Instagram reel, basically? But I would love to just do one of those, like, just go for like a trip and just do it, because there were people in local church that I was part of as well, and I think it was last year that did a trip to Uganda. Was it this year? I lose track. But honestly, they went there. I think there was 4 of them, and then they were kind of linking in with the people there in Uganda, and like 7,000 people got saved just through their trip. And it's not like, it's just people that are just a willing vessel, and God just moved, and whatever it is that they were saying was just being dropped into people's spirits. Because if God wants to move and God wants to change lives, he can use like 5 words that you speak that will shift someone's life forever. It doesn't have to be a polished extreme sermon, or like, oh, I just know 500 lines of revelation. I don't know. It's God uses everything and anything where people are ready to receive. It's just like people just need to be expectant just to receive. Anyways, so as expected, we didn't get to any of the questions. There's literally one other question that I thought about last night, because I don't know what it is, but it's constantly like this thing about the verse in the Bible in Habakkuk 2 verse 2 about, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. And it's just constantly about vision. Even my pastor in South Africa, who's a kind of a mind renewal coach as well, she's always like, part of her sessions is about, well, what is the vision? Like, obviously aligned with God's word. But I was wondering, obviously you've gone to the mission field, you do your discipling, you've got your business. Have you written down like what your 5 or 10 year, like your ultimate vision? Are you going to be the gazillionaire and retire, or like build an orphanage, or I don't know, is there anything that, like, exciting thing that you've got planned, or is it just like, okay, let's just see what God does tomorrow and go that way? Because some people get visions, of course, and then they'll be like, this is what I'm gonna do, that's what I want to have a center for women, or I want to do this charity, or I don't know.
Sure,
everyone's different.
I guess no, I don't have a plan as such. I think now that I'm in my kind of like 3rd year of doing the business, I'm starting to get a bit more like, okay, I kind of can know what to expect. I want to start having a plan. I know that I'm called to grow this thing. Like, I meet people that do what I do, and they just stop when their capacity's full, they just pass on work to other people. And I've kind of decided, actually, I want to hire people instead when I get to that point, or like contractors. And so I've got some contractors I'm working with now, because I'm getting to that point where it's like, I don't have capacity for all this. And And that's not because I want to make more money particularly, it's just because I just feel like that's something that God told me to do. So that's the plan as it stands. I still constantly wrestle with, should I even be doing this whole thing? Why not just go back to the Philippines? You know, the beaches there are amazing.
Oh my gosh, yes, like, so beautiful.
Like I wrestle with that a lot. I think the older I get, the more I'm thinking about plan stuff. I guess if I was to roughly write down, you know, what do I think my 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s might look like, I could probably give you a little bit of a bullet point. But no, I know that whatever plan I make, and I think great. I love a plan.
Yes.
You have to hold it with open hands. If God took it away, you could do it. If I got 10 years into this and God says, great, pack up your family and go over here and plant a church, am I going to be able to do that? Am I going to be able to say, yeah, okay, cool, that's next? You know, obviously weigh it, take your time, respect people in your life, don't just do that. But am I in a position? Am I holding things in a way that's like, God, if you said something else, I'd do it? Because that's ultimately, like, these are not. I think one of the things with the business, I've just not. It is mine, but it doesn't feel like mine. It feels like His thing that He's building and cherishing, and I don't really worry about work or where it's coming from. It just kind of happens. Maybe it'll come back to bite me, but
no.
Yeah, at the moment it's just been very much like, oh great, this has happened and this has happened, and you know, as you live in the fruits of the Spirit, things tend to kind of iron out, and you know, there's being smart as well. And I think as I get older, I think God will lead me into the right places. So
no, you've got a great heart posture. I think everything that you've said, and like just even in this conversation, is you could just see, like, you know, the first love is Jesus, and it's not like there's no idol like my business and my this and my that. Like I think God really like honors and loves that about you, that He just knows it doesn't matter what happens tomorrow. Like He'll give this up and then go, I don't know, maybe full-time Philippines or whoever. It's like He's just in control, which is amazing. And anyway, so we've got 1 minute left. I just want to know if people wanted to use your services for these awesome websites, like obviously go check out your website, but how's the best way that you kind of like to be contacted and chat to with people to, you know, get an awesome website and more, like all the other services you do?
Yeah, sure. So my website is called design-narrative.com, like dash is in a hyphen, so dash design. You can't do an ampersand in the URL.
No, I know, that would be awesome.
Infuriating. But no, that's what I do. I'm also on LinkedIn, just Dan Tarrant.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way to find me.
Okay. Amazing.
Yeah, I love connecting with new people. I love
it's the
networking
best.
events and stuff, and so you might see me at some of those things.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm always open to new projects and new ideas, and I guess a big part of what I want to do is just to help people and tell a story, and you know, how can I think I just really feel like, like God is in this business or this thing or this. How can I sit as the user and help them communicate what their heart is in a way that other people that aren't never going to understand. So.
And I think He's definitely give you, like, just from our own interactions with you, like definitely the gift of wisdom, and just that, almost like that type of person that can really give like deep wisdom answers in counsel. So if you had to, like, you know, do counseling or coaching with people, whatever that looks like in the future, I think that people would get very grounded, solid answers from you. Like it wouldn't just be like a fluffy, I don't know, think this and that. It would be very kind of solid. I don't know how to explain it, but that's sort of like the feel that I'm getting. So I think even with being a disciple, like discipling people, like that is really, you know, people are very, I suppose, like blessed to have you as the person that would be doing that with them. Not that I'm saying that not everyone can do it, but I think like sometimes you just get a really good find and people are like really awesome. Like if someone has a gift of wisdom, I have to say that brings like this other light bulb moment on so many facets of things, because I don't think I particularly operate in the gift of wisdom, but I have people in my life that do. And if I sometimes might have like a weak moment or a spiral, and then they just come in and they're just like these, I want to say like a rock, because it's almost like I see Jesus having these different facets of him, and I always feel like people display those facets of people. Like some people will just be like joy, and another people will be love, and another people will be wisdom and like a solid rock. And so when those people come in like in a storm, it's like God sent. It's like, wow, you just thanks for the light bulb moment and the grounded answer, and not the spiraling like, oh my gosh, like what's gonna happen. They're just like, no, it's just that. It's
well, anything
fine.
wise I say is probably because I've just processed all the dumb stuff with someone a lot wiser.
Oh, Dad.
Give me some smart advice. So
yeah.
friends,
Anyway.
my friends, and to the people, 10 years older than me that have had a coffee with me and helped me and told me when I was wrong. And the whole business and mission thing like mainly came out of a friend, Naomi, who's awesome, who did like serious mission, like Mozambique, Thailand, all those things, basically saying, Dan, like, you should do this business thing, like this is the ultimate mission field. And you'd be like, what? No, I can't do that. And that was the start of that kind of thing of, could I actually do that? Like, is that
the seed or the word that you got
telling me what I didn't want to hear, wise
then
people.
God waters it. He waters it. He sends more prophetic words, more people, and it's like, okay, I didn't really think about that.
Go mentor someone.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, Dan, I gotta run. I've got a gazillion things going on as well, but thank you. I'm so thankful. This is awesome, and I'll share all the links and stuff with you as soon as I post it on social media. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
God bless.
Okay, you too. Bye.